One of President-elect Donald Trump's campaign promises was to eliminate the Department of Education and send education back to the states. That's his quote. On Tuesday, Trump announced he plans to nominate Linda McMahon to spearhead that effort as education secretary. McMahon served as the head of the Small Business Administration during the former president's first term. As the founder and former CEO of WWE, she first became close with Trump in the early 2000s when he was the star of The Apprentice. McMahon's work in education includes serving about 1 year on Connecticut's Board of Education 15 years ago and more than a decade serving on the Board of Trustees at Sacred Heart University in Connecticut. Beth Reinhard joins me now. She's a political investigative reporter at The Washington Post. Beth, thank you for being with us. Can you tell us more about McMahon's background in education?
So she's not well known as an education policy person. She's never worked in the field. She did graduate with a teaching certificate, but then she got married young and went into the wrestling promotion business with her husband, Vince McMahon, and obviously built the WWE into a global empire. She did, as you said, serve on the Board of Education in Connecticut for about a year. Her position as chair of the America First Policy Institute over the last few years, that's a conservative think tank that helped lay the groundwork for another Trump administration. That group did promote conservative policy issues with regards to education. So she has had her hand in education that way. But it's a limited background in education, I think, compared to past nominees.
Should McMahon be nominated and confirmed, what would being secretary of a department the president wants to shut down look like? Keeping in mind, in order to do so, he would need congressional approval, at least 60 votes in the Senate.
It's definitely a heavy lift, considering that congressional action is required. But, Linda McMahon has proven herself to be a Trump loyalist. They've known each other for decades. She's donated tens of millions to his campaigns. She and her husband donated $5 million to his foundation when that was operational. And so he's chosen someone who has proven herself to stick by him, through thick and thin, and also served in his last cabinet. So I think that that quality of loyalty and having known her for many decades is important to the president-elect.
What can you tell us about maybe what kind of education reforms she would stand for?
I think, we're going to need to wait and see because, as I said before, this hasn't really been her wheelhouse. But if you look at where the American First Policy Institute has been on these issues, it's a lot of the issues that we've been hearing from conservative in recent years, wanting to give parents more control over their children's education, more input on what is happening in the classroom. They support taxpayer-funded vouchers for private schools, which has been a long-held goal of the conservative movement. The group is resistant to what we're seeing in terms of gender identity and sexual orientation, whether those topics are going to be, taught in the classroom. That's been a big issue in the public schools, and her think tank has been definitely opposed to those kind of instructions.
I do want to ask you before we let you go, McMahon is also the subject of a lawsuit involving claims on the mistreatment of WWE workers. What can you tell us?
Yes, she and her husband were recently named in a lawsuit brought by 5 anonymous plaintiffs who worked decades ago as what were called ring boys. These were young teenagers who were enthralled by WWE and just wanted to get up close to the events and would help set up the rings. And they alleged that over the years, 3 other high-ranking WWE officials sexually harassed them, molested them, and that they claim the McMahons were aware of this and didn't do enough to stop it. These claims have been circulating for a long time. No one has ever been criminally charged in the matter. The FBI at one point did look into this, but no one at the time came forward according to their investigation.
Okay. Beth Reinhard, thank you for your time.
Thanks.